Sejam bem-vindos a mais um podcast, LucioCast, na mesa dos negócios. Eu sou o anfitrião, onde aqui nós vamos conhecer mais histórias, nós vamos aprender, vamos ter insights. E hoje eu tenho aqui a presença de uma pessoa muito especial. É uma pessoa que eu já conheço há 18 anos, aprendo muito com ela, a gente brinca muito, assiste filmes juntos. E eu posso dizer que hoje é um dia muito especial, você poder fazer um podcast com a sua filha. E hoje eu recebo aqui Victoria Santana. Seja bem-vinda, minha linda. Se apresenta.
Olá, todo mundo. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria Santana. I'm here with my dad today doing a podcast. We're just going to be talking a lot about my journey through volleyball and just life.
All right. E hoje, o que é especial? O que eu vejo em você, Victoria? Que você é uma menina que você identificou algo que você tem paixão e você foi até o final. Eu lembro quando você começou a jogar voleibol,
Nossa,
desse tamanhozinho aqui, e fominha por bola, e saía jogar, não perdia um treino, tava em tudo quanto é jogo.
começando no Calvary, né?
Começou lá atrás na
10
Calvary
aninhos.
Chapel, 10 anos, e hoje você tem 18 indo para a faculdade. Mas, lembra, tudo tem um início. E between a sua jornada, tem os struggles, tem as dificuldades. E eu queria hoje, com 18 anos, tentar entender a sua cabeça. Como foi quando você tinha 10 anos, que você first play? How you felt? Como foi suas dificuldades? O que passou, né, na sua cabeça?
Well, 10 years old, I'm what? In middle school, right?
Yes.
So I don't really think a lot about, the deep part of playing a sport, right? I just kind of went in there, shout out to, you remember Coach Wepner? Yeah. He's the one who really got me started. Yes, exactly. He's the one who got me started playing volleyball. He saw my strength, was doing PE, doing all of the exercising. He's like, you should do volleyball. You have that fire. And so first club, Boomers, remember? We did that for a while. Coach Faye, all of those coaches that pushed me. But being little and playing volleyball, it was just about like winning, like I just wanted to play and have fun and make friends. I've made friends starting off in volleyball that, I probably will know for the rest of my life. So that's really important.
But I remember one day, like one of the first games that we went, that you were so sad because you didn't play.
I know.
I felt that with you. It was like, oh my gosh, she's crying.
I know, but that's part of any
Do you
sport.
remember that moment?
Oh,
Or
100%.
was like...
Well, there's been more than one. you
Yeah,
know?
but I'm talking about the first one that I felt so bad. Because
Yeah.
you were so little. I said, oh my God,
I know,
want
I
her
remember.
to play.
But also the thing was, I was playing on a team with girls that were 3-4 years older than me,
That's true.
My very first team with Coach Billy, you remember? I was what, I think 9 or 10 years old playing with girls that were 13, 14, already have been playing for a while. And then there's little me, I don't know, I didn't really know anybody. And then I was like expecting to play and then I didn't. And I was like, Mom, Dad,
I didn't play.
This. Yeah, I know. But even going on, there's been so many times in my volleyball career too that, I don't understand.
O que você pode falar para essas meninas que estão 10, 11, 12 years old, que talvez estão passando the same que você passou lá atrás, que não joga, que passa por dificuldades, que a cabeça tá all over, não tem maturidade, que hoje você tem. O que você hoje, com 18, tem para dizer para uma menina de 12 anos?
I would say that it's not the end of the world. I feel like also when you're so passionate about a sport that everything you do like aligns with that. There have been so many times in my volleyball career and, it's a sacrifice, not even for me, but for my family, financially, it's very time consuming. I would just say, don't let that become the center of your world. Don't idolize it, because once you put everything that you do, that you think, and you base it on a sport, you base your mood on a sport, or, say you go to a tournament and you didn't play and you let that affect you, that's when it gets dangerous.
Yes.
But to the little girls who are just starting, I would just tell them not to give up. Like, I know, you see your friends on the court and you drive 3 hours to a tournament and then you sit there on the bench, like, I know it's hard, right? But it's part of a process.
Yes.
And
O que você acha que o esporte te ajudou para você no seu caráter? Por você estar lá todos os jogos, tendo decepções, jogando, perdendo, ganhando, nenhum jogo vai e ganha, não ganha medalha. Como que isso na sua cabeça te ajudou a grow? Para você poder entender que a vida, algumas vezes você lose, algumas vezes você ganha. Como é que isso te ajudou? O esporte.
Well, playing for such a long time, I think that it formed part of who I am, because if you look at all the things that come with doing a sport, there's discipline. It's a lot of time, a lot of time. A lot of people don't realize, but there's so much time that you have to put into something that you love. So much time, right? And the hard thing is that you're going to have to make sacrifices, like I mentioned. I missed, I don't know how many, school events, high school events, hanging out with friends because I'm working on my art. And traveling, exactly. Do you think there's not so many times as a family, too, we could have been doing things, but I'm doing volleyball, Yes. So I think that playing volleyball for this amount of time and traveling and meeting new girls, one, not only has it helped me talk to people, my social skills, not only just going to school, because I was homeschooled for 2 years of my high school experience, so that kind of took a toll, but what kept me in it was playing volleyball. Simple as that, And I think that the experience with playing a sport is something that you can't get anywhere else,
Wow. Eu lembro que várias vezes alguns coaches ou os daddies chegavam para mim, uau, sua filha, good job, que você terminava um jogo. Mesmo que você tivesse ganhado, você chegava, cumprimentava as suas meninas e falava, olha, good job, never give up, não desiste, não sei o quê. Por que você fazia isso? O que motivava você a querer motivar as outras meninas?
Also, I know how it feels, too. And not a lot of girls, too, can sympathize with the other side of the net. Say it's like a really tight game and you guys lose. The refs are going back and forth. That's not easy to do. But also, it also comes from you guys, too. You guys raised me in a way where kindness is everything, right? Yeah. And so not only that, patience, too. So, obviously you just played a game, it's hard and, maybe a couple of the girls are bickering on the other side of the net. I just see it as like, they wanted it just as much as you, right? So what's the cost of trying to do something nice,
Yeah, that's very nice.
And not only for me, too, but for the people around. And you notice how many people have come up to you and be like, oh, she has good sportsmanship. And that's not something you see often, especially because people get away with a lot of things. And not only volleyball, just like the sport aspect.
Outra coisa que eu gosto que você faz na quadra, que eu acho que no mundo dos negócios, os empresários também, eles deveriam fazer isso muito, a energia que você traz para uma quadra. Como é que você faz isso? Da onde sai essa energia que você entra na quadra, você, tipo assim, você esquece o que está acontecendo fora e você dá ali o seu melhor. Não só isso, você consegue transmitir para as pessoas que estão jogando e quem está assistindo.
I would say that's something I was born with. I don't, sometimes... And a lot of times, too, you'll be in like a funk of volleyball and you don't really want to bring that energy, right? But I have such a passion for volleyball. And it's not only just for the sport itself, but I like to help people. I want people to see me and see God,
Wow.
See just like a light through me. And that's something, too, that's very evident, And as you've been playing, too, you get to notice the different types of people. The way they are and what they bring to the court. You could have the most talented athlete, but they don't have that passion. They don't have that light of God shining through them. And so I would say that's the difference.
They lose the purpose of.
Yes,
100%. Não é suficiente você só jogar bem. Você tem que transmitir o amor de Deus através. Pergunta, você já parou para pensar how many hours? Quantas horas de jogo você já jogou?
I couldn't even tell you. It's
like guess.
I mean, if we talk like since middle school to now, I don't even know. It's a lot more than like because
not only hora jogada, mas de treinamento.
Nossa. Now you think about it. What? 3-4 times a week, 2 hours for 8 years.
Wow.
That's insane, you know? It's a lot of time, and I don't regret any of it, to be completely honest with you. I don't regret a single part of it because everything that I've learned through playing travel volleyball and, you know, making it to the level that I'm at now, you know, getting a scholarship from a D1 school, that's not something that a lot of people can say lightly, you know?
Não. E você lembra que quando o papai falou, Vicky, você tem que gravar um podcast com o Daddy. Aí você falou assim, quando eu for para a faculdade. Eu não lembro quanto tempo tem, se foi 1 year ago
Probably
ou
1 year.
2 years ago, e a gente está aqui agora. Né? E nós vamos falar um pouco da escola que você vai. Mas qual foi talvez o momento que você mais struggle nessa jornada sua de voleibol? Teve um momento que você falou assim, why? Por que eu tô fazendo isso? Teve algum momento ou você sempre foi muito firme?
No, I wouldn't say that throughout my whole, you know, athletic journey I was 100%. Nobody is. Definitely struggling with keeping my athletic life and my social life in balance, I would say. Because, you know, like I said, I have missed so many opportunities socially in my high school career to, you know, be a kid. You know, there's so many times that I would love to go do something with my friends or, you know, missed out on a lot of things because I'm training or I'm out in a tournament, right? I wouldn't say that's the hardest. I would say also dealing with uncertainty.
Wow.
Because, you know, not everything's going to be perfect and you're always improving. You put all this time and effort and you come up with a problem. For example, you know, you've worked so hard, you make it on this certain team and then you don't play, right? And it sounds so simple, but, you know, in an athlete's mind,
Emocionalmente.
100%, it's very emotional and it starts in your mind, okay? Volleyball is a mental game. What people don't realize is it's literally mental, 100%, right? And for me, one thing too, I was an outside. And for those of you who don't know, that's the person that, it's front row, basically, all offense, person who goes and swings the ball. And hearing my whole life that I'll never make it big because I'm short, you know, that for me, it was probably my biggest struggle, you know, and since I was little too, I knew that I wanted to make it big in volleyball. I knew that I wanted to, you know, make it to that level. I've been watching these girls on TV and, you know, I was like, this is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to do. And, you know, I've had plenty of coaches tell me that I can do it and I've had plenty that can't, you know, and I would say that's the hardest, you know, having people who are supposed to be supporting you tell you that you can't do it.
Wow. Remember que eu falava assim, filha, escuta que nós vamos chegar na frente daquele local e vai ter uma vaga para estacionar.
Não, eu penso isso toda hora que eu vou.
Aí eu falava, mentaliza, acredita. E eu fazia isso de uma forma para você entender que quando você tem fé, desde uma simples vaga, ou um sonho de jogar num time, ou qualquer que seja, Deus já nos deu tudo. Mas você tem que acreditar. Então eu provocava para você falar assim, listen, não importa o que falarem para você, você tem que ficar firme no que você acredita.
100%.
Você tem que entender que o que Deus tem para você, através dos esportes, você vai fazer.
Yeah.
Mas você tem que ficar firme.
Yeah. And that was my main conflict too, because I had everything that, you know, I've been doing for the last couple of years playing volleyball set on this unrealistic goal that I was going to go to a big Division I school as a 5'8" outside. Not saying that it's not possible. There are plenty of girls, you know, there's this one really good girl that plays for Atlanta and she's like 5'7", you know, but that wasn't where God, you know, had me going. And, as you get older too, like it starts to hit you. You start to realize like, you know, this isn't realistic. This is just a dream that I'm chasing. But, you know, God helped me a lot with it because number one, you know, with our move to Orlando, too, that was very, you know, beneficial for us. And me switching positions too, which was not easy.
No.
Going from being an outside.
Something that I had to. Eu tive que deixar você decidir.
Make my decision.
Algumas vezes eu queria me envolver, mas aí eu volto um pouco quando você começou a dirigir. Que eu falava, na minha cabeça, eu tenho que deixar a Vitória dirigir. Eu tenho que deixar ela cometer os erros dela, eu estando do lado dela. Lembra que nós ficamos um ano, né? Você dirigindo do meu lado. Né, todos os dias, não importava. Eu lembro que a primeira vez que você pegou uma pista...
O highway,
O que eu falava pra você? Vai, filha, vai. Aí eu falava assim, agora você vai ultrapassar. Só make sure. Depois eu falava, agora você vai decidir se você pode ultrapassar. Agora você. Então, na minha cabeça, eu precisava treinar você para tomar decisões. Aí eu nunca vou esquecer o primeiro dia que nós dirigimos 2h30.
Eu acho que...
US. Que
Pra pegar
você tem aquela seleção de músicas ainda nossa?
Claro que tem.
Eu, que nós ficamos...
Yeah.
Aí o legal foi que eu fiz ela sair da nossa casa até Key West, 2h30, 3, ela dirigindo. E eu acordava, eu dormia. Aí eu tava... Aí eu tava lá assim, eu acordava. Vitória!
Filha!
Vitória! O que tá acontecendo? Então, foi um momento especial. E sabe o que Deus falou pra mim? Naquele momento, quando depois nós chegamos em casa e você falou assim, pai, eu queria ir jantar com uma amiga sua, não lembro. Só que você já ia sozinha. E o meu coração apertou. E eu falei, não, ela tem que ir. Ela tem que ir sozinha. Todo esse processo de 1 ano de treinamento é para que você fosse sozinha. Aí eu lembro que quando você voltou, você falou assim, pai, você não vai acreditar. Parecia que você estava do meu lado, dizendo, toma cuidado, faz isso. E aí ali no meu coração, Deus falou, é assim o Espírito Santo. Ele está o tempo todo do seu lado dizendo, cuidado, não faz isso, deixa eu te orientar.
100%.
Né? E quando você entrou na próxima fase, que é o que nós vamos entrar agora, de você se preparar para a faculdade, eu entrei no mesmo modo. Eu comecei o quê? Eu preciso treinar a Vitória para ir para a faculdade. Eu preciso começar a deixar ela tomar as decisões. Eu não sei se você percebeu, eu comecei... O que você pensa, Vitória? Tudo mais.
You don't dictate
o que
what I
você
do.
pensa?
You guide me, you know?
Porque eu quero que você aprenda a tomar as decisões. Para quando você estiver lá, pode me ligar, me chama, mas eu quero que você pense, peraí, o que é o melhor para mim? E não ficar controlando você.
Yes. Yeah. And one more thing regarding the, you know, when I switched from being an outside to a libero, that was like right when we had moved too, you know? We came to Orlando, I didn't know anybody, you know, this new club too, Top Select, and they put me on the second team, right? I had to hit for half a year, which was like a pain for me, you know? I was so...
Me too.
for everyone, you know? And it was just like, I was so anxious to get to this place, you know, that I wanted so badly, that I didn't realize what I was missing in the middle, you know, in the midst, in the present, which a lot of athletes, including myself, tend to do a lot. Also, the stress of recruiting, too. That, for me, besides the position crisis, recruiting, 100%. You know, I knew from freshman, middle school that I wanted to play at a Division I school, but I didn't know how to get there, right? I wasn't too educated on the process, and I had a lot of trials and errors. But the switch from, you know, living Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, completely different clubs, different playing styles, and switching that position, you know, instead of having film as an outside, I would have to try and ask my coach, hey, can you let me play libero? We know. Yeah.
So that was like a big change in your life.
Yeah.
Quando você fala ansiedade e incerteza, como é que você deal com você internamente com essas duas coisas? A mim, até hoje, sempre nós vamos ter incerteza e ansiedade. Tem um ponto específico que você se agarra, que você fala, não, quando eu tô com incerteza e quando eu tô com ansiedade, eu busco algo. Tem alguma coisa que você busca quando você tá com esse sentimento de incerteza e ansiedade?
Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously God is our foundation. And I grew up, thank God, in a house that, you know, taught me about these values and, you know, growing up going to church. But I never really found out you know, got to know who God was until I reached those points in my life. Wow. So what I came to realize now, you know, I'm 18 years old. I'm an adult, which is crazy to say. I never thought I'd be saying that. But, you know, all of these trials and tribulations make us who we are, regardless of whether we like it or not or whether we understand it or not. Yeah. We also fail to realize that God doesn't change. Regardless of what we do, God does not change, you know? And so my life verse is Philippians 4, 6, and 7. It says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your request to God. Amen. And that's the verse that I ground myself on. And I'm not perfect. I've had moments in my high school career where, I look at myself, I'm like, what am I doing? And there's been times too where I'll have that uncertainty, anxiety, and I'll go to something not godly, something to distract me, something worldly to try and fulfill that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eu sempre vejo você como uma menina que as pessoas procuram você for help. Uhum. Porque você tem uma cabeça até um pouco mais de 18, você sabe how to, né? Você tem uma experiência até em casa, né? Você tem a Júlia que você tá o tempo ali, ó. Você tá mentoreando ela, filha, não, Júlia, não faz isso, Júlia. Essa fase que você está agora vai passar. Então é importante quando você já passou por algo para você poder ajudar alguém. Agora você está numa nova fase, né? Junho 30, no dia do meu aniversário, eu vou deixar você lá em Carolina do Norte, na sua escola. E se eu falar que eu tô triste, eu não tô triste, porque eu vejo que é uma nova fase na sua vida, mas ao mesmo tempo eu vou sentir falta, mas ao mesmo tempo eu fiz o que eu podia como pai para poder te direcionar para você errar menos, porque você vai ter momentos que você vai errar. Hoje, gravando esse podcast, que foi depois que nós falamos, que só depois que você definisse a escola que você estaria, né? Como é que você se vê hoje? Sabendo que você está saindo de casa para uma nova fase da sua vida para poder cumprir o seu sonho, o que Deus te chamou. Lembra quando nós fomos na escola, eu falei, filha, você vai fazer a lot here. Você vai ser lembrada nessa escola como uma pessoa que impactou.
And I was. We brought the First Academy to a place that they haven't been in years, And what's crazy? Me as a hitter, not even as a libero.
Wow.
The position that I've been doing for so many years that I've been trying to get rid of brought my new team somewhere that they've never been before. And I've not only helped them athletically, but these girls too, needed some kind of leadership.
Yes.
With all the seniors gone from last year, they needed some kind of, something to bring them together. Yes. And, hopefully I think they saw me as that. And, with the coaching problems and all of the, issues that they've had over the years, I'm glad that God put me in that position. Yes. And, even if I didn't even want to go to TFA, moving somewhere completely different, God put me in the place I needed to be.
I know.
And it's crazy because we only realize that after it happens.
Yeah. E como é que você se sentiu quando você ganhou o prêmio? Nós tivemos a sua formatura do high school. Eu me senti o máximo. Sou orgulhoso de você. O que passou na sua cabeça naquele momento ali? Você sendo chamada e sendo reconhecida por algo que você fez. Você colocou seu coração, você colocou seu tempo. Qual foi o seu sentimento?
I was just thinking how blessed I am. Like, so many people wish that they were in my position. I don't even want to say that in a cocky way, not anything like that. So many people wish that they were in the spot that I am, And sometimes with, becoming accustomed with our life, we live very comfortably. And that's something that we get used to. And we forget to be thankful and put that first. And so, just hearing my name on that stage, I was like,
that was amazing.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And even back at Calvary, same exact thing. I'm just glad that I could help my teammates, and not only that, but put myself in a position too, where people know me not only for my skill, but for who I am.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's not only how good you are as a player, mas você. O que você quer deixar? Ok, new fase agora. Você tá saindo high school e indo pro college. O que você quer deixar high school para trás como uma mensagem para aquela menina de 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 anos? O que você quer deixar para essas meninas? Before we move forward to college.
Well, it's not easy. I know I said that with the other thing athletically, but high school is a whole different thing. High school, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to go through high school without having any kind of problems. There's friends, teachers, grades, parents, and the list goes on. But what also you fail to realize when you're young is that it's not the end of the world, too. Even in high school, I struggle with a lot of mental health problems and all of those things, and I know I'm not alone. I know there's so many people out there who feel the same way as I did, but the issue is that we get so caught up in, what could happen, what is currently happening, and not realizing that it's going to be okay, Yeah. So what I would say, to the girls out there who are struggling with, maintaining this athletic life, academic, and not only spiritually too, because I know that's hard. I know it's hard. Mm-hmm. There's so many temptations. You scroll on social media and you get caught up in everything that's happening. I would say that you need to find a point where you can ground yourself. Just find that, even if it's a person, obviously God is our creator. He is there for us 24/7. But I feel like we also fail to realize that he gives us resources. That's part of it too. We need to utilize what God has given us around us. So that's what I would say.
Wow, amazing. All right, moving forward agora, college. What's going on na sua cabeça? Assim, pouquinho só. O que você está pensando? Né? Você está agora desconectando da casa e o que você está pensando? Você tem alguns planos que você está pensando ou ainda você fala, quer saber? Eu vou enjoy.
Well, no, I'm a very, order person. So I obviously I have an idea of what the next couple years will look like, but, I'm not trying to set an expectation and then let that be broken when something doesn't go my way. Honestly, I don't think it's hit me yet. Even like at graduation, walking that stage, shaking the hand of my principal, it hasn't even hit me yet. And, when it does, I'm going to have to deal with it. But, I think the hardest part will be leaving you guys, leaving Julia for sure. Julia, she's, she's my little sister.
She loves you.
She loves me. She, as much as she doesn't want to say it, she loves me so much. She wakes up every day, comes and lays in my bed and just stays there with me, and she may not realize it too, but, I have done so much for her too.
Remember one day that I said you were the one that comes in?
Yeah.
You understand
cleans
her.
Things. I do understand. I know her better than anyone.
You were like a mentor. I tell you, you go in, you know how to put the right words to her.
I mean, we're sisters too. We argue a little bit.
Right?
We argue, but I know her better than anyone. So, when you guys can't reach her in a way, that's where I step in and, see her through her shoes, because I've been there. And that's what she sometimes fails to realize, but she listens to me because she knows I understand.
Uhum. Filha, uma coisa que você olha para dentro de casa e você fala, você vai levar para toda a sua vida, like you're gonna carry on something que você aprendeu dentro de casa. One thing.
One thing that immediately came to mind when you asked me that is hard work. If I look at you and mom, you guys are the hardest workers I know. Especially because you guys literally, and I know you have a thing with this, but you literally started from nothing. Yeah. You came to the U.S., 18 years old, a little bit of money, and you started this successful business from the ground, quite literally, and mama supporting you by the side. But
a lot.
I know. And, dealing with us, our problems, and providing for us financially, volleyball is not cheap. It is not cheap, okay? Yeah. So I would just say hard work. You guys have taught me to pursue things. And, obviously there's been teachers along the way who have helped me realize that and take pride in my academics. Okay, one more thing before I forget. I would tell you guys to focus and hone in on, these opportunities that God has given you. You're put in a private Christian school with the best teachers there are. Take advantage of that. Don't slack off in class. I know it's so easy. don't slack off in class. Take advantage of what you're given, because so many people would kill to be in the position that you are now. And I only failed to realize that after, and I don't want to say I miss high school, but I miss the idea of it, But yeah, it's gonna be different. But I can only give God the control, and hope I can impact as many people as I can from what I've been through. Who knows? A little girl will see this, and even a parent will see this and be like, that's what my daughter's feeling, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. I'm gonna say algumas coisas para você, e você me fala o que means to you. Okay? All right. So, mãe.
Like mama, what she means to me. Mama, mama has always been like, not because you're that like foundation for me. We've had our times, but mama has always been that kind of like soft support for me, being at every single one of my games, always there to comfort me when I'm crying, Mom, I didn't play today. Or, just being there when, or at least giving me that wisdom when I couldn't see it for myself, And, she raised me. She made me who I am today. She took care of me, and she put me in positions where, I could succeed. Yes. And not only that, but, and I know this sounds really silly, but like just the way she hugs me, holds me, those things mean so much to me, and I'm going to miss that so much in college. Yeah. Yeah.
Julia.
Nossa, Julia is a whole different story, but, she's my little sister. She is the one person I grew up with, my whole life. She's been there since day one. So, I don't know. I have a different kind of love for Julia. And I know sometimes I can be stubborn, or, we'll fight and she doesn't understand, but it's a different kind of love for your sister. And you understand, you have a lot of sisters. So, and especially having her kind of follow in my footsteps, playing volleyball. She also has been through a lot too. I know it's kind of easy being the second child. I would say I got the worst of it, respectfully, but she still has a long way to go. And I'm going to be there every step of the way for her. I'm going to, support her volleyball career and do what I can to make sure she succeeds. She means more to me than she knows. And sometimes, like I said, I may fail to show it, but, she's a very special part of my life. And I don't know what I would do without her by my side, good and bad. Let's just say that.
Papai, Lúcio.
Yeah. No, Dad, you've been, a very important part of my life too. You have provided that foundation for me, even if it's, taking me to Chili's after a middle school game and eating a whole molten lava cake, those things, Dad, mean more to me than anything. So mean more to me than anything. Right. And so you providing this path for me, and I can't stress enough, as a father, spiritually, financially, which is, those three things are what made me into what I am today. Without you providing those, resources for me to go travel, for me to train, the countless lessons, training, all of that, it comes together, And I know it's not easy to, as a dad, on your birthday, sending your daughter away to college, I know that's not easy, but, I want to thank you for, making me into the person I am today, giving me those values, hard work, love, patience especially. But, yeah, you mean a lot to me.
Deus, God,
I had a really tedious time getting to know who God was. And in middle school, I struggled a lot. And, I know I'm not the only person. Middle school is a very hard time for everybody. Bullying, and then what happened with Colin in 8th grade, that was not easy. And so that kind of put me in a really dark spot. But something that I've realized too, and I've said this before too, God does not change.
No.
He does not change no matter what we think or what happens. Whatever the circumstance is, he will always be there. And also sometimes I feel like I fail to give God the glory that he deserves. We become so comfortable in the world that we're in, or, the sin that we're doing, that we forget who God is sometimes. And I think that the reason why we have challenges is so that we can get back to that point, and there's been times in my life where I've been like on fire for God, I'm doing everything right, or, I'm in a place where, I feel good spiritually, and then I'm not, but that's part of it. Spiritual warfare is very, very real, very real.
Yes.
But, and I'm not a perfect Christian. Nobody is, right? But
não.
I think
É
that...
importante que você, that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that part of being a Christian too is how others view you, which I think that people don't shed a light on more.
Yeah.
Because, you profess one thing, you call yourself a Christian, and then do another thing behind other people. And again, I'm not saying I'm not guilty of this, but it's something that, is very common in Christians, especially young Christians. But, God has been there for me every step of the way, regardless if I know it or not. He has a plan for me, even if I don't realize it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Pra gente finalizar, qual escola você tá indo?
I'm going to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte.
Yes. Como que é?
Niners.
Niners. See?
Niners, yes.
Niners.
Yeah, beautiful school.
O que você tem pra dizer? Qual a sua expectativa do seu coach? I love her.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Coach Karen. You're awesome. Oh. And Coach Verna.
I know.
Coach Teresa.
Quando a gente chegou lá, eu vi que eu senti que Deus cuidou de escolher o lugar para você, para essa nova fase sua.
100%. I kid you not, even going there as a camp, and, I was very, unsure about my recruiting. I was like, hey, they reached out to me. I'm going to go see this, whatever. And, Coach Gio was an assistant coach there. He's no longer there. He's at a different college, but he's kind of the one who brought me to the camp. And so, it's a 2-day camp. It was, I've been to college camps, showcases, so, I'm used to it. But I was like, it's kind of getting close to me deciding where to go to school. Like, I need to make my impression. And I had no doubt that I was going to. So, going there and seeing, hundreds of girls trying to, get the same thing, I think that was the best I've ever played. Genuinely, I think that's the best I've ever played.
Eu não estava lá, mas mamãe falou que você estava on fire.
No, Mama was there, and it's like, I don't even know what came, over me. That had to be God, because, I was just playing my butt off. I was just working hard and letting people know who I was. And it's funny, too, because people know me as the girl with the purple shoes, Yes. That's when I still had the mellows. But, I kind of, I knew, because I went there and I got to really see, how the coaches are and how they run. The facility is beautiful.
Amazing.
Loved it.
Wow.
My favorite color is green, so that helps.
Dá vontade de viver lá, né?
I know,
Morar lá.
it's very nice. But I kind of knew, too, that that's where I wanted to go, especially after the camp finished. And this is a funny story. So they pick, a final 11, 12 girls, which are the people they want to recruit. And they have them play against the actual Charlotte team. So, I was, shaking. And they picked me and one of my now teammates, Aaron, and we played the actual team. I kid you not. First ball, I get nailed in the face by Laura, which is our middle. Hi, Laura. And I just got hit in the face, and Gio was laughing his butt off. It was so funny. The ball was up. But that's something I'll never forget.
O mais importante, a bola não caiu.
The ball was up. But I love that Mama came with me. That meant a lot for me. Her being there with me and supporting me. The camp was definitely a very big, decision maker for me. And then after the camp, I waited some time. I was praying. Me and Mama were like, please, let's get this offer. Like, I need it. Because I knew that's where I wanted to go. I fell in love with the school. It's beautiful. And another thing that I love too was that Coach Karen is a very avid Christian. And to be completely honest, that's very rare, seeing that in like college. So I love the environment and what they brought to me. And then after I was praying. And then one day I'm sitting in the guest room. I'm just like, I'm laying down and I get a text from Coach Karen. Hey, Vicky, can we call? And I was like, I'm screwed. They gave the offer to someone else. I did my best. It looks like I'm going to have to keep weighing my options. She calls me. Hey, Vicky, how are you? I'm like, hi, Coach. I'm good. And she's like, well, we would like to offer you. And I was like, no way. And then Julia was actually with me. She was there. She was videotaping me. And I was like trying my best not to cry because that was the school I wanted to go to. Like, it was where I saw myself. And so she was like, yeah, we'd like to offer you, blah, blah. And as soon as I hung up, I was like, thank you, Coach. Mom! It was so funny. I was like, Mom, she offered me. And we both just started like
Eu quase morri do coração.
Crying.
Porque eu não estava lá.
I know.
Eu estava numa reunião.
I know.
E eu já pensei que tinha acontecido
Something
alguma
happened.
coisa.
I know. No, me and Mama, I'll never forget that moment. We were just hugging each other, crying. Like, that's something I'll never forget.
I know.
Yeah. But, I'm happy that that's where I'm going to be at. And, hopefully the next 4 years will, give me something that I'll never forget. Hopefully make lifelong friends and put me in a position where I can share my story too and be successful.
Yes. Minha linda, we are done here. Eu quero dizer que eu te abençoo, que Deus continue cuidando de você. Mesmo eu não estando lá com você, eu sei que você tem tudo o que você precisa para poder seguir nessa nova jornada sua. Deus vai estar com você. Eu sempre falo que você é uma mulher que sempre vai impactar onde você vai estar. Always. Você vai change o lugar que você está por você, do jeito que você é, apaixonada por Deus, por fazer as coisas. Então, segue tudo o que você tem no seu coração, continua buscando Deus, continua se conhecendo, perguntando para Deus qual é o seu chamado, qual que é o seu propósito. E eu tenho muito orgulho de você.
Thank you, Papai. And this moment too, I think is very special for us because we've been talking about it for a while, but you're literally going to be there twice a month. I know you will. It's literally a flight.
Você pode me ligar.
Of course.
Eu vou estar dando todo o suporte que você precisa para você continuar crescendo.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, thank you. Love you.
Te amo.